Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This is our reaction to The Expanse, Season 1, Episode 3, entitled Remember the Cant. You know, we talked a lot about Lost in this Episode 2 discussion yesterday. It's kind of a shame that we don't have Terry O'Quinn on this show to just shout out, don't tell me what I can't do at any given point in time.
There we are.
Well, come on, you're serving it to me on a silver platter, The Expanse. This was a really good episode. This is probably my favorite of the first three.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it's because we'll go through all this in the video, but to set it up, we meet more of the Martians than we've had before. I develop a new standout MVP of the entire space crew storyline, who are now prisoners from the Martians. We learn more as to what is going on Ceres with Miller, the case of Julie, and we have our first big death. I don't know. We don't have any spoilers.
Yeah, no, we don't. We just he looks pretty dead, so
We kind of got to take that at its word, but before we dive into anything else, if you enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. We will have more discussions of The Expanse coming as we continue our journey through the series. I mean, pun intended there. Anyway, though, if this was an episode that was airing live, what we would probably be doing is starting off with the top story, the big death.
Yeah.
So I feel like we still have to start with the big death.
I agree. Let's talk about that.
They killed Magnum PI.
Oh,
okay, no, otherwise
God.
known as Dimitri Havelock. It's just, I'm always going to think of him as Thomas Magnum now.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah, and I mean, this wasn't, we knew that he wasn't going to be on The Expanse forever just because he is Magnum PI now.
Yeah, he is.
It was just mostly a measure of when he was going to go, but how shocked were you that this was how this was all going down for poor Dimitri?
I didn't think he was going to be gone in episode 3. At the same time, I did think he was going to go, not just because of the Magnum PI, but usually the partners of the main detective or the main cop that we have a high rate of possible death in series. So if someone was gonna go, it felt like it might have been him. I just didn't think this early, and that's what I really like about it.
Yeah.
The show has now set up that nobody is safe. Early on, they have no problem killing people. They blew up an entire ship of people.
Yeah.
This show is not afraid to do that, and I really like that. There's not a lot of shows out there where you feel that fear that anybody can go.
Yeah. I think it's something that, not that we're going to keep trying to reference Lost as much as possible, but I think it's something Lost tried to execute, and for those of you who are extremely, extremely up to date, I think Watchmen to a certain extent did it in the premiere as well, but it's not easy to actually strike that much fear in the heart of your audience at any given moment.
And it's good because it makes me feel like they have more skin in the game, that we really could lose somebody. So when you do see them in horrible situations, this really could be a problem.
And this was a pretty big problem, obviously, here. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why this could go down. I mean, I think one of the more obvious ones is just he is, an outsider on this world where it seems like being a belter, there's a strong sense of identity and there's a strong sense of fear that other people don't have their best interests at heart.
Yeah, and clearly the Belters are going through a lot. There is the OPA that's happening. They feel like they're just left to the dust, and with everything that was going on with Holden's message that got out there, now they're feeling even more scared, more empowered to do something about it. It's going about it in ways that they feel is the right way to go about it. And that's another thing that I'm really enjoying about this show, is that it feels like a lot of the characters are really feeling like they are doing the right thing, no matter how they go about it. If it's the right way, the wrong way, everybody just feels like they are doing the right thing, no matter what they have to do to get it.
And I like that people are doing sort of also the unexpected thing. I mean, we won't be getting that much of a chance to talk about poor Magnum PI beyond this episode, really. But
probably not.
I mean, even at the start
Unless
of this...
there's a big shocker and somehow he didn't die from
Zombie
that.
Magnum ends up kind of coming to the surface. But, you know, even at the start of this episode, he's getting language lessons from a local prostitute. I did not see that coming at all.
I didn't expect that that's what he was doing. As I was watching the episodes and he was visiting this house of prostitutes, I wasn't expecting that he was actually going there to do what they do in the house.
Yes.
Repute. But that I thought maybe that one of the prostitutes was either someone that he was like a CI type situation that was helping feed him information, or that she was someone that he had maybe put into a protection program by putting her in there, and it was someone he was watching out for.
Yeah.
Language lessons was not where I thought that was going.
I had kind of discussed a little bit in episode 2 how when we were actually going to see all these paths connect and where all these storylines were going to make sense, I did not think we would be starting up episode 3 and immediately, boom, here is Holden's message for everyone to hear.
Yeah, and it really has connected all the stories, and I'm glad in that way, because there are still so many mysteries out there that we don't know about yet, but it's cool that they have brought them together this way, this quickly, that now Holden's message is out there, everything that's been laying underneath the surface between the Belters and then this sort of Cold War that's going on with Earth and Mars and all the things that are happening are all this is out there now, even though the information is clearly wrong.
Yeah, it's also just still interesting though, because it feels like, I know the show actually aired years ago, but there's such like a topical nature to this storyline where you've got partial information, misinformation, deflection, like all these different things are going on because everyone wants to cast blame on what happened to the Canterbury, when in reality, nobody's actually got all of the information.
No, and we even saw the Martian captain who's like, okay, now you're going to put out this message that may or may not be true. Even when she's like, oh, there's this other ship that we've been following, so now do you believe me? I was just like, you also don't know what that is. Like, nobody knows what that is because you've just been following it. You haven't actually figured it out. So now you're also doing the exact same thing that Holden just did, except you're doing it to save your butt.
Everyone just wants an easy sort of out. Everyone wants to just point the finger somewhere else and then retreat in the other direction, and then everything is going to be A-okay. They don't mind if somebody else, like Naomi, gets thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Just whatever makes them happier. But let's get over to this ship, because I have so much I want to talk about with the Martians. Starting first and foremost, I love Shed.
Oh my God.
I think Shed is probably...
I love him.
Shed will probably die very soon, because that is my luck on some of these sort of shows, is they always take from me what I love.
Do not put that out into the universe. No, he was great.
Yeah.
Seeing him throwing out casually how he faked his records to get out of getting killed by his drug dealer, or, hey, I dated a Martian once. This was the first time that I really was just... Man, I really like him, and I've got a connection to him now.
What's so funny to me is that Paolo Costanzo played Evan on Royal Pains, and I don't remember the timeline of Royal Pains. I don't know if he was doing that in the Expanse at the same exact time, but it feels a lot like this is basically Evan from Royal Pains in space, where he is just sort of like this guy who's trying to schmooze his way into getting whatever he can to stay. Like, it's just so funny, and I think space crews, they're always better when you got a guy like Shed in there who is a little bit cowardly at times, is just a little bit of a goofball, is amazingly honest at the wrong possible time.
Yeah, I was really surprised with how casual he was about, I did that. I did that magic. That happened, yeah.
Yeah, everyone, though, had their own sort of reaction to being imprisoned by Mars. I mean, we had that. You want to talk about Amos here? What is going on with Amos?
Yeah, let's talk about Amos. I still feel that I don't know enough about what's going on there, but holy, what a hothead.
Yeah, Amos is like the guy who... it's sort of like there is that gif out there of Jon Snow preparing to battle like all these people that are charging at him. That's what Amos seems to think he's doing every second of the day.
Yep.
This is not a superhero show, Amos. You do not have super strength. You cannot take out 100 people coming at you at one point, and yet Amos seems to think that he can.
Yeah, he definitely does feel that way. Now, what I want to talk about and get your opinion on is, what do you think about this pill that the Martians are taking to then interrogate? It wasn't 100% clear to me watching it. It's not mind control, but is it a mild form of mind reading? Are they able to like maybe pick up on signs a bit better on what's going on? Are they retaining information with it? What do you think?
I was really focused in on after how they took it, their pupils changed a little bit. And what I'm kind of wondering with this is if this is just a way for them to get a certain degree of acuity, because they keep closing in on people's faces in these interrogation scenes. And I feel like what they're doing is this is just enhancing their ability to detect someone who is telling the truth. I don't think it's necessarily mind reading, but I think it is sort of like face reading. And I think they were really studying like how much Naomi blinked, whether or not her blinking patterns were similar to how when she was talking about other people versus herself. I think this is some enhanced interrogation technique that was going on here after the pill. That's just at least what I thought. I mean, what about you?
I feel like that's a good assessment of it, because it didn't feel like their mind reading or anything like that. It did feel more like it was helping them have a better sense of some tells.
Yeah, and it felt a lot kind of like, you know, you have the cop drama where you have the detective bringing the bad guy into the interrogation room and they sort of lay out all the information and they're like, you know, we know though that you're okay. We know that it was Bob in interrogation room C who's really the responsible party. So if you cut a deal with us, you'll be okay. It's like that's what they were trying to do with Holt, that they were just like, you know, we know that Naomi is the real problem here. We know that she's OPA. Did you know she's OPA anyway? Sell her out. You'll be fine. Just cut your own plea deal with us, and then you'll move forward from there. I'm interested in the Martians, but I think more so, were you shocked about Alex being a part of them? I had no sense that was coming at all.
I didn't think that was coming, but at the same time, it feels like with this episode that it's very clear that everyone who was on the Canterbury comes from all these different places and all has very different backgrounds, and that everybody was holding on to secrets. It feels like it's a place that you come to kind of get away from whatever it is that you had in your past. Yeah. So was it shocking that he was? Yeah, it was. But at the same time, this episode has revealed that everybody's doing something, and that everyone who's come together, is it Naomi's part of OPA, he's was part of the Martian Navy, then we've got Shed who's like, I faked my records, it doesn't matter, it's not a thing.
Yeah, real glow up, by the way, on Alex with the cos. I mean, when he was on the ship itself, what do you have on a beanie? You got the headphones on.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he just emerges. He's got like his hair done. He's in like the uniform.
Yep.
It's just like, are you just one of these guys who just like goes undercover and is just like slumming at Alex to try to make people into a false sense of security?
It made it that I'm very interested to find out more about that. So if he was part of this Navy for such a long time, what happened? Yeah. I understand that he was honorably discharged. Why?
Yeah.
Why did this happen, and why did he decide to go and get ice? What was it that made him decide to go from something like a military status to this?
Yeah, and I hope it's something we get an answer to over the next few episodes. But let's go over to Earth now, because you are I don't want to say you're a supporter of Christian, because what Christian is doing is kind of awful, but you and
is it awful?
Well, she's betraying her friend.
Okay, that was awful. But when you look at the bigger picture of things,
well, she's compelling. That's the thing about her. She's a very fascinating character.
It is, and I love characters that are like this, because it makes me dig a little bit deeper into myself and put myself into sort of that type of frame of mind. If I was where she is, what decisions would I have to make or want to make? And while some of it for her seems like it's, oh, well, this is best for Earth. And I want to make sure that Earth is in the best position. And, you know, we got to keep the peace kind of thing. This episode really revealed to me that for Christian, it's actually more about victory. And
Christian
it's about, she wants to win. And that whole story that the UN, the Martian ambassador was talking about how, oh, we all were playing games and finally we let you come into play. And then you just changed the rules so that you could get to the finish line first. And that's when it all sort of fell together for me. I was like, oh, so really for her, yeah, peace is great. You know, taking care of Earth, that's also great.
Yeah.
But victory, that's here for her. It's higher up. So it made me even more interested in her. I just don't see her as, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see her as 100% of the bad guy. I see her in this gray area where there's a bunch of different reasoning for what she's doing.
Well, I think, you know, it doesn't have to be a good guy. It doesn't have to be a bad guy. There's always people who fall in between. Yes, I feel bad for Mars ambassador guy.
Okay, I did feel bad for him. They've been friends a long time, and but when you...
He got hosed.
Okay, he got hosed, but for the greater good. So when you kind of look for the greater good of Earth, so when you look at what she did, she needed to know where that technology was coming from. Was it Mars? Is a war about to start? Yeah, it sucks that her friend got hosed, but it at least settled that, where she's like, okay, Mars is not doing this, so war is not exactly here at this point. And so, yeah, sorry for your luck. Here's a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I hope that wine is really, really good. Maybe he can go and just find wherever Jean-Luc Picard is at the start of the new Star Trek, where he apparently owns a winery or something, and then just get drunk together and just, like, make themselves feel good. But, like, I don't know how I'd feel if I was him, but yeah, we got big information out of this storyline. We got information that kind of suggests that there is another power player out there, someone who's out to something mysterious. It's a good mystery. Before we go, though, one more thing to discuss. Jared stinking Harris is in this episode. How did this casting director for The Expanse pull all of this off?
Yeah, because we've had Jonathan Banks, we've had all the Lost people. Jared Harris. Oh, the Terror. Mad Men was the first thing I'd ever seen him in. Chernobyl. Oh.
Yeah.
Jared Harris, we still don't know a lot about him, but...
He's good.
Oh, man, is he so good? I'm so happy to see him in the show.
The more we get of him, the better The Expanse as a whole will be, but I think it's pretty clear now 3 episodes in. Pretty good show, The Expanse. Am I pretty good? I mean, really great. But
yeah, great show, great premise, great characters, great casting.
Yeah, really, really good casting. But now that we are 3 episodes in, I want to know from you guys, what did you think about The Expanse when you were 3 episodes in? I'm sure many of you are much further along in the series than we are. So give us, your spoiler-free thoughts, your perspective on everything right now. If you've got some fun teases, that sort of stuff for us to look forward to, share in the comments and also give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking out that link in the description to the Carter Matt store. We'll see you here next time.